Hello there, it's Matthew, the designer. Today, I just want us to talk about serious things. The question: what is your salary expectation? What's your value? How much are you expecting a month? Whenever you attend an interview, they will ask you questions about your skill set, about your mentality, about your character, about your temperament, and your experience in general as far as printing and design goes. But lastly, they will ask, how much are you expecting? The question is always there. Before I try to give you some thoughts on how to answer the question, it's very important for us to understand why the companies are asking the question. Why they must ask you, how much are you expecting? Let's say a company hires a designer today, and the designer will be around for 15 years. To assume that because they were paying that designer 18,000, therefore as a new designer you must be paid 15,000, it's a wrong assumption. Here is the reason why. That designer entered the company with let's say little experience. If a lot of experience, it's a lot of experience with a different brand, with a different company, with a different printing system. Now the designer, as the time goes, the designer is getting to understand the company culture, the way things are done, and also the company products. Now you are a new designer, you still have to go through that same process. It might happen you've got more skills, it might happen you are educated, it might happen that you've got what it takes, you know everything, but there are some issues around your printing and design experience which has got nothing to do with the skill set. So the fact that they were paying a designer 18,000 doesn't mean they are robbing you when they are paying you 5,000. They are not robbing you because they still have to teach you some of the things which has got nothing to do with your skill set. Also, it might happen they want to put you in a trial phase. This is what I've discovered in my experience as a designer. Most valuable things that the companies are looking for as far as design and printing is concerned, they are not related to skill set necessarily. But most companies, they are worried about your, let's say, the longevity, your endurance. Can you handle pressure? Are you going to be here for some time? Can we trust that you're going to be here for 10 years from now? I attended an interview on a family-owned company. They told me straight, they were honest with me, that we are looking for someone who's going to stay. Hence, we are very, 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 very strict, very, very, very picky when it comes to hiring someone, because we are going to invest time in teaching you our system and how we work. So it's very important for us to quickly get a good sense of you're going to be here for some time. So this question, how much are you expecting? Also, it helps the companies to understand like what's your expectation compared to how they look at you. Let's just make a practical example. My expectation might be 50,000. According to what I presented to them, they feel like I'm worth 10,000. So we've got a 40,000 gap that cannot be matched. If maybe it was a 10,000 gap, then at least we can say, okay, let's hire this guy. They can work around that value. Maybe you're gonna understand that, okay, you are still new. There are things that you have to learn. But if there is a 40,000 gap, to them automatically, I'm thinking they might conclude that this is not the right person because we are not in the same scale. Maybe since maybe they are desperate for a designer, they might try to convince you that you must settle for 10,000. So this question always pops up So the reason why it pops up, they want to understand like what's your own value, like what's on your mind, what is the figure that is on your mind. So you must not assume because they were paying a previous designer or the current designers are paid 50,000, therefore you must also pay 50,000. If they are not paying you the 50,000, they are not cheating you, because there are some things that you have to learn. It might happen, as much as you are highly skilled, you know all the programs, it might happen you cannot cope with the pressure of the business, which is it's a major concern for them. They are not concerned about pixel perfect like design layouts. There are some other things around design that constitute professionalism. So if you don't have those qualities, then it becomes a problem, because you might tarnish their brand. So that's my view on it, that it doesn't mean you are being cheated when they are paying you less. That doesn't mean that. Allow them to some sort of estimate how much they are supposed to pay you. Maybe when you are in the company, you might realize that I didn't know that much for that matter, because there is a lot of things going on here. Also, in most companies, most especially with printing industry, you're not going to be a designer that sits on the table and that's it. In most cases, you will be responsible for printing also. In most cases, design and print and just check what's going on the machine. At some point, you're going to be expected to be a soft applicator. You just print a small board and then you have to just quickly apply it. So it might happen you are a designer, but you are used to a digital agency kind of an environment where you've got your own desk, a beautiful one. You don't move there. You call the client, you email them, and then you are responsible for brand strategies and other things, let's say. But in the printing industry, it can be a bit technical. There are some skills that will be required from you. So once they hire you and then you are not willing to learn some new skills, you are not willing to be a technical guy a little bit, then it might be a problem. So that's my take on it. Now, how much is my value as a designer? Well, I'm just gonna be honest with you. You have a personal value of who you are, what you stand for. You are a brand yourself, but understand you are a brand amongst brands. Do you get what I'm trying to say? You are a brand amongst brands. So a designer is apt to have his or her own personal value, which you have to prove. You have to prove. Let's start from the fact that you approach the company. They didn't approach you. If you have been headhunted, then we can discuss a different story. But if you have applied to them, those guys, they don't know you. They don't know how much you can deliver. So I think that's one, it's a personal value. Let's say I believe I'm worth 20,000. That's my personal value. Then the company will come, we will get into the interview, and then they will say, we think that you are 10,000. To me, this is how I view it. First of all, let's say I want the job, let's say, unless I'm not that desperate. I want the job, let's say I have not been working, or I've been working, maybe I've been paid more, but the working environment doesn't align with my own personal values. The list is endless. There are many things that might make you unhappy in a business. So now you are looking for a different environment. So it might happen you are coming from a high salary. What I'm trying to say is, when you get into this new company, you've got your own personal value. You must have. If you don't have, let's say it's 20,000, but now they are going to say it's 10,000. Then what do you say? For me, the proof must be in the pudding. Don't go into a company to reinforce your own value, because it's not easy to judge a man's construction from the face. If you're gonna reinforce that, let's say, no, they're supposed to hire me with 20,000, 10,000 is too small. Those people, they don't know you. They don't, yes, you've got an experience and references in your CV, but they don't have a proof. So with me, whenever I'm asked what's my salary expectation, obviously I'm going to tell them that, look, I'm looking at 20,000. Then if they are saying, okay, we have an opening for 10,000, I don't remember a case whereby I say, no, I won't take it. I don't remember, unless it's crazy. Let's say from 20, then they say we're gonna pay you R1, which is, I don't think companies can do that. But I always give it a shot. Maybe it might happen I've been desperate, I'm not sure, but I always give it a shot. But in my presence, like in that company, I will try to do my best to communicate who I am and how I do things. In most cases, the companies recognizes the value. Hence, I became a production manager. The company recognizes the value. They always see something. Maybe it's not gonna be always the case. Even if they don't, that doesn't matter. But you can. It's easy. What up? Hey, something happened. My battery was very low. As a result, I couldn't continue. I hope I'm gonna be able to continue from where I have left, because now it's a different time of the day. I'm in a different zone, different thought process, but I hope I will continue smoothly or seamlessly. What I was trying to say is, it's not that good to expect people to pay for what they don't know. I'm not sure if it's fair to other people, but it's not fair. Even if you might be on the same page in terms of you've got a diploma, you've got a degree in let's say in graphic design, and you've got the experience, but still there is that room. These guys don't know you. Like, still they don't know you. You don't know them. So when you get into the work environment and they see actually who you are, point in case, some people, they are not skill set based. They are not these so-called normal workers. Some people, they specialize with bringing value in the table. Yes, you might be a designer, you've got jobs that are piling up, but there are guys who can get it done without mistakes. That's who they are. Like, there are guys who can get 15 jobs done in space of 3 hours. That's how they work. If maybe the company specializes on turnaround time. So they don't know you, you don't know them. The unfortunate part, or a sad reality, you approach them. If you were headhunted, that they were targeting you, like they asked you, can you come and work for us? It's a different story. You can name your price. So what does that imply? Does that mean I'm trying to say, if you are an employee, you are already at a disadvantage, meaning that you have to accept whatever the company is offering? No, I'm not saying that. There is a room for negotiation. You can still negotiate. If you're not that desperate, you can tell them that, okay, I can't work for the so and so amount of money. But what I was trying to say is that be cognizant of the fact that these guys don't know you and you have approached them. So obviously, there's a saying that says water seeks its own level. I am a firm believer of that. You can hire me in your company and then you pay me R1. That's not a problem. But I know, like, the value that I'm gonna bring. You get what I'm trying to say? So I know the value that I'm gonna bring, because water seeks its own level. I can go as high as I'm conscious or I'm aware of myself. You get what I'm trying to say? So there's no one who can limit you. There's no one who can control you as to the amount of work that you can deliver. Your value is your value, and you'll always deliver according to that value. So that's what I'm just trying to say. That's my thought process. I'll get into a company, they will say, okay, instead of 15,000, we're gonna offer you 5,000. maybe I haven't been in a situation where I'm super maybe desperate for money, or maybe I'm always desperate. I take anything, but to me, money hasn't been the biggest part of the equation. I'm not trying to be unrealistic, but in essence and the true nature of who I am, it's how I do things. Like if I can say that based on how the company does things, it's not gonna, like we are not a perfect match. To me, that's a big sign, and that's a concern. That's a concern. So hence I'm saying it's up to you, Yawan. But with me and my own experience, I always not necessarily accept anything. Obviously, I've got my own limit. I have negotiated in a lot of places to say that okay, it's fine, but I'm hoping for this, and I will put the reason why I'm hoping for this. For instance, let's say I'm too far. I'm too far. I would say that look, if I was already here, I was gonna, but I'm too far, and maybe it's impossible for me to move, to relocate, because let's say I've got a family, or I'll put the issues. You are allowed to negotiate, but remember, you approach these guys. Don't negotiate from a point of, I'm not sure, self-worth. Do I mean that you must not have a self-worth? No, but give a room. Maybe it might happen if these guys can understand how you work and understand who you are. Maybe they have a better place for you. Something more than basic 8 to 5 employment. Maybe you've got some skills that are not related to graphics. Maybe you've got some traits that these guys are looking for. You never know. For instance, when I was hired as a production manager in another company, which it was surprising though, because I never thought that could be the thing that they are looking for. We never know things until we experience them, or we get into them. Until we meet the devil, then we'll know that this is the devil. That's how life works. On another company, when I submitted my CV via their email, this is what they have identified. They said that the reason why we are choosing you, it's because of you've got an in-depth knowledge about sales. You've communicated it in few sentences. You just got to the core. You happened to hit the target. You've showed us that you've got an in-depth knowledge about sales. What is it that I said to them which maybe caught their attention? It's simple. There is always a conflict between the sales people and the production team. These guys come from different worlds. They don't understand each other. Sales people, they are all about how much money are they gonna make. In fact, they are all about signing the deal. They can accept anything as long as they are gonna get the commission. As long as I'm gonna make 100,000 and get my 10% in commission. Now let's go to the production guys. Starting from the designer. First of all, I've got a very harsh deadline. It's a problem already. It will affect the quality. So that's the only thing that the guys said it made sense to them. Hence they said, okay, fine, come, let's talk. How much are you looking at? They said they were not looking for a designer specifically, but if you know how to design, we are cool about it. But they wanted someone who understand a little bit of the business behind the thought process, the ins and outs of what's going on. Because if you're going to manage the production, meaning that you are responsible for executing the job cut given a certain time, and also you must deliver the right thing. There are things that you cannot see, but you must be able to pull up. You must be able to think ahead. So I'm just trying to say the idea of being price conscious. I'm afraid. I have a fear of pricing myself. I have a fear of pricing myself because I believe I can do more. Hence, when I'm asked, what is your salary expectation? Okay, I will say I'm expecting 20,000. They will say, okay, no. Based on what we heard from you, we don't think. To me, it hasn't been an issue because there was no company that was unreasonable. So it hasn't been an issue. So I'm trying to say, first of all, know your self-worth. Like, be wise enough to understand it's your own self-worth, it's your own self-perception. I understand that the world believes in a man who believes in himself, and it has no use for a little and a timid man. I fully understand that. And also, at some point, you need to reinforce your self-worth so that you cannot be in a company that doesn't value you. 100% I understand, but remember, it's your own self-worth. These guys have been running the company. They know the person that they are looking for. In case they are not giving you what you want, always believe in that self-worth, that somewhere, somehow, you will show them. Not because of you will show them, because of you are showing them. But somewhere, somehow, maybe let me try to be some sort of talk along the lines of enlightenment. The universe will give you what you want. The law of attraction. You become what you think about most of the time. Maybe it's because of I believed in so much that. So that's what I was just trying to say. Know your self-worth. Be wise enough to know that it's your self-worth. When you meet someone who's saying that this is how much you're worth, if you see that you can live from there and seemingly it's a good company, you can grow. Look at other things, how big it is. Do they have different departments? Do you get what I'm trying to say? Hence, I used to say to people, don't view graphic design as a job. View it as a career. There are many rooms. Don't be pixel perfect. Find other things, other traits that are non-design related, that might help you to grow from let's say a designer, but to a different position in a way. Salary expectation is it's a very tricky question. Some other companies, even though they put the amount of money that they are going to give you. For instance, I attended an interview in this company. They already had some sort of the amount that they pay a designer, or some sort of they are willing to pay. But nevertheless, they still turned like my own expectations down, because I went there with the hopes that if they think they can bring me in, it's a win. We're not going to get into how much are you expecting. Even if we can get there, I didn't think that they can still negotiate. So some other companies, it's unfortunate that they put the amount just to attract as many people as they can. Let's say I'm looking at different jobs from Google. Then I saw this one doesn't tell me the amount, and this one is telling me that the monthly salary will be 25,000 and it's negotiable, or it depends on the skill set and what. The fact that there is 25,000, I'm inclined, obviously, to apply. So some other companies, they put the value there only to attract people, because sometimes you can advertise and find out that you are not getting anyone, and the time is going. So some companies they do that. So salary expectation is very difficult. But what I can suggest as a last tip, know your value. Know your value. I wish I can say to you, know the value of a designer in the market. Make a research how much a designer is being paid in South Africa, in Johannesburg, in Eastern Cape. I don't believe in that. I really don't believe in that. The way my salary has raised, first of all, I was intentional about it. It's not something that happened as the time goes by. I was intentional about it, on how I raised my salary. Like, there is this corona season, which I believe it's affected the world, like it affected everyone. Funny enough, my salary, like it increased in this season, something that never happened before. Before, I was still trying to, not necessarily trying to understand who am I, but I was still trying to find myself. Remember, I'm from film production. I tried it. I'm from music. I tried poems. So also I'm a systems person. So I was trying to find myself. As soon as I found myself, then I knew my self-worth. As a result, I was able to increase my salary. I was able to be intentional about how much I want to get. And in most cases, it happened. In most cases, I've been turned down from what I want. But as time goes by, I'm gravitating towards what I want and the salary that I want. So I'm not market focused to say how much a graphic designer is being paid in Johannesburg. That's not where I come from, which I would like to advise also. Don't come from that mentality, because of it might happen you don't have what it takes. Work on yourself to have what it takes, and to be convinced and to be sure that you have what it takes. How can I be convinced if I have what it takes? To me, it got to a point whereby I have to sit down with my owner and say that, sorry man, seemingly we are not in the same frequency, same wavelength, and I don't have a job, but I'm willing to give you a chance to say you can continue and organize someone else. It's not a problem, it's fine. I'm going to save the amount of time that you want me to save, but at this point in time, we are not in the same frequency. This is the vision that I have for your business, and this is who I am. It's an unfortunate truth that the way in which you are operating, it's not the way I operate personally. I did it twice, with no fight, with no everything, to say that, look, I'm sorry, like I rather like stay home. So I'm trying to say the idea of your self-worth, it's not determined by how much amount of money that you are paying now, but it's more than that. I think it's the will, it's the drive, it's the not necessarily wisdom, but it's more of enlightenment than technical skills and how much design I do. It's more than that. So when you know yourself, it's about that, whereby you can say, okay, it's fine, we agree to disagree, let's see how far we can go. So it's all about that. Don't be more focused on the market and also how much the other designer is being paid, but find a way to create value out of yourself and know your self-worth and know how to work around it. It's a science and an art. Some other things you prepare them like on the go. It's not something that I can say this is what is going on as far as Sarah is concerned, but find a way to build a value out of yourself. And also, when you are in an interview, know what you bring on the table. And it's so unfortunate that you don't bring the skills alone, like to say, I know Photoshop, I know so and so, I know so and so, I know so and so. I know guys who are very, very good on Photoshop and CorelDRAW. They are better than me, but they don't understand the core, the meaning of graphic design, from, let's say, from the client and all the process, and also how to eliminate the mistakes on the get-go. Like when you are taking a brief from the client, you need to be skilled and wise enough to eliminate all the mistakes, as the client is telling you. Just a simple thing. There are different types of client. Some other clients are storytellers. You can ask them, which logo do you like? They will tell you about how they started the business. They will tell you about how they what they are interested in sharing the story. So you need to understand those things, so that to minimize all the mistakes, because they might confuse you, and the project might be prolonged because of a simple thing. So it's all about mastering your craft. Master it. Make sure that you are improving, so that you can be valuable and know what brings value. So that in an interview you can say, okay, the reason why I'm saying I'm worth 60,000, this is what I'm going to bring into the table, this is who I am, these are my principles, this is how I work, this is my thought process, so that they can match their own need to your own skill or who you are. Lastly, before I close, in most companies I always apply for a designer, but when I get employed, or when they call me, I sit with them in an interview. We always end up agreeing on some sort of a different arrangement. For instance, they will say, okay, well, I think you can help us in standardizing the business, you can help us in business development, you can help us in this and this. So that's why I'm trying to say, don't put a price tag on yourself whereas you are more than the salary that you are expecting. So give a room, work on it. But I'm sure that if you believe in yourself strong enough, you will get what you want. It doesn't matter the circumstances.